Good morning. What's shaking? What's happening? Welcome back to Tasty Bites, Timeless Travels. Today is day 42. Our cruise around the world. It's another day at sea. The captain is giving us no indication of weather anymore after yesterday. So let's see what we can find to do on this sea day. Come join us. Now, I'm starting my sea day activities off with coffee with Kimberly. It is one of my favorites. C is still learning about boats of the Bible. I'm really kind of intrigued to see what they're going to learn about the second half of the cruise, because I think the boats is only going to take them through the first half, but we shall find out. But coffee with Kimberly today is with Allie, the food and beverage director. So because these are new shows and because it's a grand voyage and things like that, the officers mingle with the guests in the World Theater right before showtime, like 20 minutes prior to showtime. So we've met him several times during that process, and so he sees us around the ship and says hello, and we're kind of gotten to know him. So I couldn't miss his coffee chat. That would just be mean. There's also a cooking demo today, and we finally have a guest chef for the cooking demo, so super excited about that. We got some coloring today, and then the captain has gone back and forth on what the weather is supposed to be today. He's like, especially after the craziness of Morton Island, and then Sydney also was supposed to be rained out, and it wasn't. He said, I don't even want to tell anybody the weather anymore. It's just wrong, and I just feel bad. So we might try the pool. We might not. C's got a regional wine tasting at 1. I was invited also, but I don't drink wine, and quite honestly, I think I would just be bored sitting there. But it's $35 value. It's free when you're a 4-star mariner. You get invited to it, but not my thing, so I'm not going. But she might take some video. We'll see. We'll see if she even goes, because once I said I wasn't going, she thought maybe she would sit it out, but I think it's going to depend on the weather. If it's nice and sunny, I feel a pool day coming on. The movie is nothing I want to watch today, and I think the afternoon lecture is about Okinawa. So not a subject that I'm that interested in. So first half of the day, pretty planned. Second half, not as much planned, which seems to be our trend recently on these sea days. But it all works. Tomorrow's a big day, so we're trying to take it pretty easy today anyway. But let's get this day started with a little coffee chat. Right, coffee chat was really interesting. Allie's just a really nice guy. He talked about some of the biggest challenges. So first off, dairy is more expensive than meat. The hardest thing to procure is fresh produce. And the biggest change he's seen since he's worked for the cruise lines is the Lido buffet. When he started back in the 80s, there was no buffet. You wore a jacket to breakfast. It was a big affair in the main dining room for all 3 meals. And he thinks that that is eventually going to change. When you look at somewhere like Virgin Voyages that got rid of it, that the main dining room is just going out of style. And he thinks that's going to be the next major update refresh for cruise lines. He also said the most frustrating thing to try to procure was Diet Coke, because apparently that's only a States thing. He said once you get to Europe, it's called like Coke Light or something like that, and it gets very difficult. They're also held to the standards of American restaurants, and they try to get, food that hits those standards and things like that. So, interesting. But now it's time for a cooking demo. Let's see what we're cooking today. All right, so it looks like for Scott, we're looking at some salt and vinegar lobster. I'm sorry, she's trying to hold this up so we can see it, but the ship's all rocking a little bit. And then there's also a ceviche recipe on the back. I don't know how long we're going to stay for this one. Neither of those recipes tickle our fancy, and we have coloring at 10:30, and we're big coloring folks, but it's nice to see a different chef demo. It's the chef, and he's like a famous chef around Australia, but it's also going to be the Pinnacle Grill chef is going to assist him. Her name is Maria. I don't think I've ever seen her, but change it up a little bit. Oh, and then Ollie also said in his coffee chat, something I forgot to mention, they do tea time twice a day for the team members, the crew members, so they get that socialization and that part of their culture. And then they also will rotate them, like a Taste of Tamarind menu, the Pinnacle Grill menu, the Formal Night menus, to keep their food fresh and different, and that way they get to taste things around the ship and things like that. So I thought that was really neat. That was a nice touch for Holland. Future Meredith here. When I went to edit this, I realized I never actually filmed a good night or explained how we ended up at dinner or anything like that. So, she went to the wine tasting. She took some great pictures for us. She also said that the wine sommelier, his name is Jacques, opened a bottle of wine with a sword. She wasn't able to get that on camera. But really cool, really awesome, really worth it. The wines were good. They had set up a place for me. I felt really bad for not going with her, but wine is just not my thing. But she had a really good time, and they had some snacks and stuff. So we ended up not really doing anything that afternoon and kind of lost track of time. So we ended up at the Lido for dinner because we had completely forgotten about dinner, and tried the... it's very windy today. Tried the stir fry, the Wok Station for dinner, which someone had asked me about one time in the comments, so I went ahead and filmed it. So that's going to be the stir fry station in the Lido. Lots of different choices. It does have a long line, so pack your patience when you eat at that one. But the food is absolutely delicious and totally worth it. Zuiderdam, being a smaller ship, only offers that for dinner. They do not offer it for lunch, but if you're on a bigger ship like Rotterdam or Koningsdam, they have it all day. They have it for lunch and dinner. You can't get stir fry for breakfast, but you get it for lunch or dinner. And then we went to the headline show that night, but it was an early night for us because we were up early the next day for the Great Barrier Reef. So tomorrow's video will feature the Great Barrier Reef. It is a little funky in how that one's filmed also, just due to us having to go out to the Great Barrier Reef, but it is the Great Barrier Reef. So make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified when that video pops up. Like, subscribe, all that fun social stuff, and keep following us along on our adventures around the world on Zuiderdam 2025. Have a great night. Bye.